Hi folks, the Filipino P here, and today I'm doing something completely different. I don't normally do reaction videos, but I came across a documentary that definitely warrants a reaction from all of us. It's a video dealing with the very disturbing epidemic of parents selling images of their own kids engaged in adult activities to men from around the world. And in many cases, I'm afraid it's more than just images. We're talking about physical encounters where the parents actually deliver their children into the hands of monsters in return for a few pesos. In some places, it's become a cottage industry that's almost impossible to monitor or prevent. But there are people who are doing their best to put an end to it. Just a few years ago, this kind of thing would have been a lot harder to pull off. But with the advent of cell phones and laptops in almost every household, renting your own kids to a stranger is now as easy as 1, 2, 3. This is not a happy video, but I ask that you watch it to raise national awareness of the problem, and I'll be adding my commentary as we go along. The video is from Dateline SBS, who joined law enforcement as they set up a sting operation in hopes of not only punishing the guilty, but rescuing the children. Normally, I'd advise viewer discretion, but I think that's pretty obvious by this point. Let's begin.
There's more registered sex offenders attempting to enter the Philippines.
You're preying on children who don't know. They don't have the mental capacity to fully comprehend the situation that they're in.
Give me a second to mute it.
Okay, let's go.
Hello?
So I just started a recording so I can document this.
Mike is an undercover investigator working for Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI. He's travelled to the Philippines and has 8 days to arrest several women selling their children for sex.
She has 5 children. They look like they're between 5 and 10 years old.
Mike has infiltrated a group of online paedophiles, and the mothers believe he is one of them.
She knows I'm coming to the Philippines and she wants to meet with me so I can have sex with her kids.
And she said that.
Yep. We have a woman who is offering to sell 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12-year-old children to a foreigner for $18.
You heard that right. For the discount price of only $18, you can abuse any one of her 5 kids. Take your pick. And I bet she'd offer you a family discount. All you gotta do is ask. It's hard to leave me speechless, but I'm getting there.
As well as offering their kids for hands-on abuse, mothers like this can stream up to 40 shows a week. Convicted paedophiles have been shown to have spent tens of thousands of pounds directing these live shows. The mothers send Mike many recordings of previous shows to convince him to part with his money. For Mike, it's vital that he can rescue all the children. It's so tricky though, right? Because you need to come across like you want to abuse these kids.
Right. We obviously never ask them to do any type of abuse or anything even remotely close to that. So it's challenging to get the evidence that you need. And the way this works is they say, I'm sending you $15, now do this to the kid. So you have a monster in the United States or the UK or elsewhere, but he would normally have no access to a child in the Philippines. But now you put in the internet and a computer, and now this guy is causing the rape of a child in another country.
The Philippines is the #1 global source for webcam child abuse, and one of the major contributing factors is poverty. A quarter of the population are struggling even to feed themselves. You don't know what you would do if you were starving. You can never condone child abuse in any way, shape or form, but what I'm saying is sometimes I believe it's circumstantial. So the mothers are torn. They know it's wrong, but they feel in their mind like it's their only option.
Well, lady, I beg to disagree. No matter what situation I found myself in, I could never sell my kids to an abuser. How can you look at your own reflection? How can you look at your child in the eyes ever again, knowing what you've done? And the excuse is poverty? I've lived that life, literally not even having 2 pesos to rub together. There were times that all I had to eat in an entire day was a cup of rice, and if I was lucky, I have fish head to make it taste like something. I went to school wearing mismatched slippers because we couldn't afford shoes. And despite our troubles, my mother never once resorted to selling me as a slave for some twisted fetish. If their situation is that desperate, then why don't the parents go sell themselves or that computer they're on or beg on the street like everyone else? No, this goes beyond poverty. This is a mindset that exists in some segments of the society here, that children are assets, products, and it needs to stop. Sorry for the rant.
HSI is responsible for investigating cross-border crimes involving US citizens. Cybersex cases make up 70% of their work.
We're going to pull into the 4th level parking lot and then we'll brief there. So I don't know if they're en route yet, but it's in play already.
Juan will coordinate a meeting between Mike and 2 sisters who are offering to sell their kids. It's taken 2 years to locate them, and today they'll come face to face for the first time. The sisters have chosen to meet at a local shopping mall.
The 2 sisters operate in different places with different kids. So if we went after one of these sisters, the other one's going to disappear and you lose these other kids. So the plan is to get them all in the same place so we can rescue all of them.
Oh, terrific. Okay.
Douglas is the first to get an update. The sisters have chosen to bring some of their kids.
They came up to me and they all hugged me, but I thought it was a bit forced, like they were told to do it. You could tell that they were uncomfortable.
Doug, do you think the kids truly understand? Do they realise that they're being abused? Or is that their normality because they've never known any different?
You're preying on children who don't know. You know, they don't have the mental capacity to fully comprehend what situation that they're in.
All right. Okay, bye. Talked with one of the sisters a little bit about price, and he gave them money for transportation for tomorrow. That's fine with them, and they set the time at noon, so.
This is the first time you're meeting them in reality, but you've already seen them being abused.
Yeah. I have 2 kids myself,
How old are your kids?
14 and 6.
So similar ages really to a lot of the girls that you see
Right.
when you're offered.
Right.
And you've had to be patient to allow this to all play out so that you can get them ultimately. I can't imagine it.
I regret that it wasn't much sooner. That's what's tough about these cases.
I really don't know how those undercover guys do it. I just don't think I have the right temperament for it. I'd feel so dirty pretending I was a predator and letting those poor kids hug me. And I just want to physically beat the crap out of the mom and get the kids to safety. And then to have to go sit in a hotel room after leaving them behind, knowing that all kinds of unspeakable things were probably going on while I waited to do things the proper way. I give them a lot of credit for their self-control, but I bet it takes a heavy toll on them.
If they turn up, the plan is the sisters will be busted at a private villa just outside the city.
We're trying to curtail this by making the supply end, people like these 2 women, putting them in jail and making them more paranoid. We can get away with making them as paranoid as possible. We shut down the supply end. And also, we're preventing our citizens from coming here and engaging in this kind of activity.
The US team here are currently working 64 cases involving child sexual exploitation.
We have seen a spike at the end of March, starting April. There's more registered sex offenders attempting to enter the Philippines. This correlates with the school vacation. We're investigating another subject right now that is talking to his girlfriend and asking her to participate in the rape of a 10-month-old baby. In one instance, the girls were actually made to dig their own graves just to cause that fear and have people watch the fear in these kids' eyes.
I'll try and meet them up front. I'll show them around, and I suspect kids are going to gravitate very quickly towards the pool. I'll say I don't want to give you money outside.
HSI have been joined by agents from the Philippines National Bureau of Investigation. They will arrest the sisters. Our hidden cameras will give everyone eyes and ears on the takedown. It's critical both sisters show up with all their children. If only one is arrested, the other will go dark, and her children could be lost forever.
Okay. I just want to talk from here, not. So, could you tell me which ones I can do what with?
Remember, we talk about
Yeah. She can do what?
Okay. She can do.
Okay, so how much for sex with me?
Are we going to let them hear?
They can say here. She's a sweet girl.
Homeland Security, under arrest.
The sisters look stunned as charges are read out. HSI have been waiting 2 years to bust them, but no one is celebrating.
You know, it's emotionally draining. Once they put me in handcuffs, my role is done at that point, and that whole other part kind of takes over.
13 children are being comforted by a team of social workers. 10 of the kids are related to the sisters. The youngest is a 2-month-old baby. All the children will be taken to a secure shelter and be given emotional and psychological support. They are unlikely to ever go back to their homes. Mike needs time to decompress. We catch up the following day.
Last night, I just wanted to call my family, talk to my girls, tell them I love them, and that's it. Yesterday was a tough day. The little girl, the 9-year-old, was asking what they were going to do today. She told her, you know, go swimming and he's going to eat. And she said, what do I have to do? So I know, like, even in the moment where these kids are having fun and they're all smiles and they jump in the pool, this little kid knows at some point I'm leaving this pool and I'm going upstairs. 4 of the girls, they said I could have sex with. I could do whatever I want with those ones. They had even offered to leave the kids there with me and just go home. Then at the end, I'd mentioned the little boy because I knew that she'd abused him. I've seen the videos of it. And she would tell me that she would abuse him when he's sleeping. And
When he's sleeping?
yeah.
For her pleasure?
Mm-hmm. And then I wanted them to admit that they personally abused that kid. And they joked about it, you know, they laughed about it.
The sister showed no remorse or emotion. Having spent some time behind bars, I wonder if that's changed. They still don't know Mike is an undercover agent. So can you explain to me what your relationship is with the American?
Friend, online friend. Add friend siya sa Facebook.
Hindi naman namin alam yung mangyayari. Wala naman kasi kami alam, magsiswimming lang talaga.
Did either of you have a conversation with the American where you told him that he could abuse the children?
Mga minor de edad, nagkukusang loob po sila, nagsasarili rin po sila eh. Marami nga po dyan sa kabataan na hindi na gumagawa ng tama na hindi rin nasa ng magulang eh. Pero hindi ko po binibenta.
Did you ever send this American pictures of your children being abused?
No.
I know that's not true, and you know that's not true. Why do you abuse your own children?
Wala kaming kasalanan. Wala akong ginawa sa mga anak ko. Hindi ko sila, sorry, kasi nakarating kami sa ganito.
Are you sorry for the pain that you have put them through, or are you sorry that you got caught?
Hindi ko alam kung ano mangyayari sa mga anak namin dun.
Kung wala pong mga foreigner na katulad niyan, sana wala rin pong mga Pilipinong naloloko.
How typical. Deny, deny, deny. They didn't do anything wrong. Of course not. It was everyone else, not them. They were duped by the evil foreigner. And even when they're shown the recording of them doing and saying exactly what they're accused of, they'll still proclaim their innocence and blame it on anyone that's handy. Well, I know that's a common reaction by criminals worldwide when they get caught. But to actually blame your own kids? Seriously? That's almost too disgusting for words. But I hope there's a special place in hell just for people like this.
Both face charges of child trafficking, child abuse and child pornography and could get 15 years to life. Sadly, competition for Mike's business is high. His next target is so desperate to meet, she's called him 157 times in 7 hours.
She's got 5 kids between 5 and 10.
Mike arranges to meet her and her cousin at a local market. If all goes well, they'll bring the kids to a hotel in downtown Manila this same afternoon. The mothers are on their way with a 7 and 13-year-old. They've told Mike he can do whatever he wants.
White shirt, khaki, pink shirt.
Wow.
Yeah? I only have two 500, so I'll give one to each of you.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
I'm going to lock the door. That's all right.
They've handed over the money and now it's time to go.
FBI, kayo ay aming inaaresto. Ha? Sa sala at paglabag ng Republic Act 92018. At kayo ay may karapatang manahimik. Kayo ay may karapatang pumili ng sarili ninyong abogado. Kung hindi nyo kaya mga sarili ninyong abogado, ang husgado ang mag-ibigay sa inyo ng abogado.
Wala mo kami ginagawa!
Ate, nakikiusap ako. Huwag mo iwawalan anak ko. Nakikiusap ako.
Why are you here?
I can't, ma'am. I can't.
Why are you here with your
He
children
said-
and why are you taking
He
money?
said he will visit him because I told him okay. Because we are long-time friends on Facebook. Then I meet him on market just eating. Then he will give me 4,000 because I said I will buy milk for my kids, I will pay my electricity and for my food. I have 9 months old baby.
Why did you say to him that it was okay for him to abuse your children?
I'm not refused mom to my children.
Have you ever allowed strange foreign men to abuse your children in the
No,
past?
ma'am. No, I can't. Sir, kahit anong gawin niyo, sir, huwag mo upanin yung anak ko. Wala akong ginagawa.
I'm told that for some children, the rescue operation is more traumatic than the abuse. Children like these will go into a care system that's already bursting at the seams. Psychologists in the Philippines now believe the long-term goal should be reuniting and supporting families instead of separating them for life.
Now, I'm not a psychologist, but I have to disagree again. I don't see any possible way that you could fix things in families where this has taken place. How could you advise a child to live with the people that horribly abuse them or probably at least knew what was going on? That bond has been forever broken. And I think it's in the child's best interest to be permanently removed, unless you're talking about extended family, and even that would be risky. Maybe it's because the foster system is bursting at the seams, or maybe there's some other reason I can't fathom, but it sure sounds wrong to me. What I do know is that we need to do what's best for the victims.
We cannot begin to imagine the pain that these kids are put through. And for all the guys, all of these individuals that fly over to places like the Philippines to abuse these kids, this is the reality. It's not sexy, it's not fun. You've broken a family. These kids are going to have to live in a shelter. And mothers are going to be sat in prison for a long time. So that's your fantasy.
Now, while I certainly applaud the efforts of task forces like these, and I know for a fact that the NBI has its hands full trying to investigate these cases, you and I both know it's only a drop in the bucket. We have to change our attitude as a people and refuse to accept this behavior by pretending it doesn't exist. The authorities need our help, so it's up to us, the citizens, to do whatever we can. There are people who see these transactions taking place. There are extended family members who know what's going on. There are neighbors of these kids who have to be aware that something's not right. Filipinos are well known for our powers of chismis. We know the brand of shampoo our neighbors use. So don't tell me this is all taking place in a vacuum and no one else knows what's going on. So I implore you, my fellow Filipinos, that if you become aware of this activity, do something very un-Filipino and speak up. And here's a warning to those that would engage in this despicable behavior. If I even get a whiff of someone abusing kids like this, whether you're the parents or the predator, I won't keep quiet. And trust me, I have all the tools at my disposal to make your life a living hell. Well, that's it for this very depressing episode. but I thought it was something we all needed to be aware of. I'll see you again on Friday with something much less dark. Till then, folks.